and welcome back to my channel. A few months ago, I sent an email to those of you who I'm in touch with off of YouTube asking what type of content you wanted to see as I planned what I should make returning back to my channel. Somebody asked me how my perspective has changed now being a mom and being off of social media. Before I share, I wanted to say I don't think one way is better than the other for everyone. Whether you have social media or not as a parent, this is my personal opinion and the experience that I've had with it. I'm gonna begin actually when I was about 13 years old. I loved to babysit. I loved babysitting. I probably spent every single weekend of all 3 years that I spent in junior high babysitting, Friday and Saturday night. There were a couple families in the neighborhood that I was in growing up that I just loved watching their kids, and their kids, vice versa, loved me. I would stay at their house over the weekend when their parents went on a little getaway, or even for a week at a time if they went on a longer trip, and I'd play mom, and it was the best thing ever. I loved it. They would even, which I'm kind of proud to say this, pick me to come babysit them over any other previous babysitter they may have had, or even over their grandparents. Anyway, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because the kids would always tell me why I was their favorite babysitter. They would say it's because I wasn't ever on my phone. They'd be like, so-and-so babysitter is always on her phone when she comes over here. She's always watching TV. She doesn't want to play with us and she doesn't pay attention to us. And you're never on your phone. You love to play with us, and that's why you're our favorite babysitter. This was actually something I had forgotten about until I got asked that question about being a mom and being off of social media. It's kind of funny for me to think back on that now and be like, wow, I've always actually cared about this. I've always kind of actually been this way without intentionally realizing it until I got a little bit older. But kids are watching and they're paying attention to what we're doing. They are, and hopefully you know that, and hopefully you take that seriously. Sending the message that your phone or the TV or that book or whatever it is more important than your child, I think it's something that they pick up on a lot earlier than we might think. So now that I have my own child, this is kind of my mindset and my perspective on being a mom and being off of social media. I still love not being active on social media. I personally feel like not sharing certain parts of my life keeps them sacred. It's my life, it's my family, my child, my memories. The whole world does not need to see everything. I don't have anything to hide, but I also don't have anything that I'm trying to prove either. A few months ago, I was with one of my friends who also has a baby, and she said to me, Carly, you need to share with me some tips on how I can stay off of social media, because I keep finding myself on Instagram instead of paying attention to my baby who's sitting right in front of me. She's not the first friend, and probably not the last friend who said this to me, and believe it or not, I don't always know what to say. Part of me really wants to say, I mean, usually you give your attention to what's most important to you, so maybe you should think about that. But before we ever really get into the conversation, the subject always seems to change. I have another friend who struggles with comparison when it comes to things and her child. For example, like the brand of baby gear that she has, or the brand of clothing that she has for her child. If it's not X brand that all of her friends have, then she feels left out. And she feels like she has to have this brand, you know, to feel complete. But then it's just this endless cycle of constantly chasing the latest and greatest and the newest thing, and she's just never going to end up satisfied, because there's always going to be someone else posting about the new thing that they got that's better than the one that she had. So then she's going to be chasing after that. She's going to get that, realize, oh, I'm still not happy because so-and-so just posted this one, so I need that. Like, it's just a constant cycle that she's going to go through of being unsatisfied because of this comparison problem. Now back to my perspective on being a mom and being off of social media. Honestly, hearing my friends talk about these things, I'm glad I don't have the unnecessary, I guess you could say, added complications that it could add to one's life. And in no way am I perfect because I don't use certain social media. Not everyone who has it will struggle with the same things that my friends do. Maybe their struggle is something completely different, or maybe they don't struggle with anything at all while being on there, and that's just fine. I personally think people overshare online. To me, it's taking away the personal and sacred part of life that doesn't need to be public, and it's publicizing those things that, in my mind, do not need to be shared. I find so much peace in keeping things to myself, and I honestly think that more people would also if they could separate themselves from the world and just be themselves. And looking at it from a different point of view, social media has a way, it just does, of tricking you into thinking that things that don't matter really do. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's true. And one of my friends is a perfect example of getting caught up in the latest, most expensive gear that really she's missing the point. It really doesn't matter. But when she's out with her friends and they all take a picture, you know, with their strollers, and all of them have the same stroller except for her, then that's where she's fooled into thinking that the stroller is what matters, when really it's not. Even further than that, I want to be an example to our child and to our future kids. I don't want our kids, when they become old enough, to want to be on social media. I hope to be someone that they look up to and someone that they know practices what she preaches. I hope to create a home and environment for them where we love and we have fun and we create beautiful memories together, and we also struggle and we go through the difficult times together, but we don't do social media in our house. And hopefully they don't feel the need for it, because their lives are full and satisfying without it. Those are a few of my thoughts on being a mom and being off of social media. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's start a conversation about it down there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you choose to spend more time offline creating those precious memories and experiences with the people that you love the most in your life. Wishing you a wonderful week, and I will catch you next time. All right, if you've made it this far through the end of my video, I wanted to tell you about a club that I'm opening up at the end of August. It's actually a club that exists offline. It's definitely old school, and I'm super excited about it. If you're someone who's craving a life lived more offline, finding the joy in the small and simple things in life, this just may be the club that you didn't even know that you needed. So go ahead and click the link in the description that I will leave for you to go ahead and find out more.